This is Dialysis Review, February 7th, 2023. I came in 77 even, which the guy said, brother said I was 6.5 gained. And during treatment, let me see here, I asked to pull 6 and the nurse was like, no. Not the nurse, but the technician was like, no. And I was like, Miss Linda, can I pull 6? And she was like, yeah. So, they have regulations about pulling limits, which I absolutely disagree with. And I have a growing thesis about that. But as long as I don't cramp, I don't have heart attacks, and I've been doing this for 10 years, eventually they come around. It's a systemic problem that I have to deal with every time I go into a new dialysis center, so I try not to move around too much. Sometimes I just have a deep reservoir of water that I can hold on to, and it gets away from me, and I end up holding on to a lot of fluid. But it's necessary because I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I take insulin, and I eat all these binders from my food, and I just need the fluid. Once I get to a certain level, the thirst and the need for the fluid really does go away. So I'm like literally listening to my body and going according to my internal clocks. And they don't teach you that because it's not quantifiable. They don't recommend things like that because it's not quantifiable. They can't put science behind it, not yet. But eventually the medical industry will probably come around, especially if they start studying people like me and what I've been doing as a dialysis patient. My whole existence in this position, I was terribly deficient when I first started, and I realized through research and such that my kidneys were failing when I was in high school, and they finally turned off, and the blood tests were found when I was 30, and I went straight into the dialysis center. There's also systemic raging problems that have to do with poverty and such, and the distrust of doctors that I used to experience when I was young. I was very mad when I started to read information about herbs and just the way that the healthcare patents words like cure, and they like hide stuff from people, and it's all about money, and it's just a huge thesis that I had no understanding of when I was young. Eating well and taking care of yourself and getting money and becoming more conscious as a human being, rising up your levels, it's all connected. So today I left at 71.3, which means that I pulled down to 72 would be I pulled 5, and then down to 71.3. So I pulled 5.8 on the machine. So the math says I pulled 5.8 in here. So I didn't pull anything extra, and it's literally because I was starting to cramp. Not really cramp, because I never really cramp, but like I have an early warning system. Like my nerves will start to jump, and I become skittish. I ate 2 sugar rations, the little tubes of sugar, because my blood sugar went down to 104, and then I caught it again after the first tube. I caught it again at 110, so I ate both tubes, and then 10 minutes later it got to 154, and then like 20 minutes before I left the clinic, it got to 136. I do leg lifts and movements for exercise and keep my body warm and my blood moving to my extremities. I do foot twirls, and I was doing a whole lot of that today, and today I had the bright idea to ask for oxygen. And Miss Brim was like, oxygen? You? I was like, I know it's rare. She's like, very. But like, I always forget to ask for oxygen when I'm metabolizing sugar during the treatment, because that oxygen aids in my metabolization, and it stops my blood sugar from just going out of whack or going too low, and it gives me like an even keel. Plus more oxygen means I can do more exercise, and I was able to create the heat from the movement during my exercises, just leg lifts, solely push-ups, and leg twirls. and I was able to create the heat and actually start to sweat. So I probably sweated off a little bit of fluid too. But so my thesis about pulling a lot of fluid is that in order to build muscle, which I've finally started to be able to do because my dry weight is going to go up as soon as I come in here and only pull like one or two, I feel like I need to have that fluid on in order to build muscle. And like this has been a stint after a long months of being more healthy, and I was able to put on muscle, and I think it has a direct correlation with the amount of fluid that I've been holding on to, and my body's holding on to minerals, my body's holding on to water. Like it really wants to build me up, and I feel like I'm getting over this hump of degradation that I suffer during dialysis to move into the existence of actually getting better instead of getting worse while I'm on the treatment. So I'm redouble my efforts to keep my fluid intact. And then Thursday, when I only pull like 1 or 2 or 3 off, hopefully I'll keep it at 2.5. When I only pull a little bit off and I get to what I think my new dry weight is, I should start cramping beforehand, and then I'll actually suggest that we change it. So that's the end of the dialysis review for today. I can't really remember. I got a little brain fog. That's like regular, but I can't remember if I was supposed to mention anything else. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's okay. Peace. Have a good day.